I love to go into the thought around quantum entanglement and how it's possible to affect an atom at one side of the universe to the other instantaneously. So quantum entanglement,
It's amazing. Quantum entanglement first came to me when I was just doing a walking meditation. It came to me as parabolic down conversion. And so I go and look it up. A lot of my information comes to me like that. And then I go research it and find out it's actually real.
That. Yeah.
It's the craziest thing.
It's coming from the field. You're getting it from the field. And then I find that with so many brilliant people that are doing this total esoteric knowledge research, is that you actually back into it. You're like, you have an epiphany, you think something, and then you figure it out. So
exactly. It's exactly how it happens. So I'm like, parabolic down conversion. So I go look it up. It's the method used to take two particles and phase shift them on the same frequency so that you can quantum entangle the particles. Then you can take one particle and shift it to the other end of the universe if you can get there. And when you change the particle local to you, the other one will change instantaneously. In other words, if one is in a spin rate up, the other one will go spin rate down. When you twist this one and put it down, this one will go up, and vice versa. So you can create this up-down communication between two entangled particles. It goes even further than that. Scientists now discovered that you can quantum entangle through conscious thought. And they've actually entangled people's thoughts together now. They took one person and put him in front of a video game screen, put another person that was, I think, in 2 laboratories away. He had the remote control. The guy in front of the screen was blindfolded. The guy who was 2 laboratories away was looking at the screen, but the one that was blindfolded had the remote control, So the one that was looking was controlling the hand of the one that was blindfolded to play the game. So they entangled 2 minds already, real science. So we know that when we get an epiphany like that, there's very rarely an original thought. A lot of the times we get in sync with a thought that already exists, because we know that all thoughts are light waves. So every single thought you're thinking right now, and I'm thinking right now, it generates waves that leave our skull and go out into the ether permanently, forever. And so that's why the Akashic Records is real. That's why the Book of Life is real, because everyone's conscious thoughts are all around us, floating around in this ether we call the grid. And it's all this, everything everywhere is all connected. And so you can get in sync with something and you can download it. And if you can discern that download, you can have an epiphany moment. And so quantum entanglement is so incredible, because if you really understand where we're going to go in the future with communications, it's going to be quantum entangled communications. So right now, if you travel from Earth to the rings of Saturn on a vacation, it takes you 3 months to get, send a message back and to get the message, get the message to Earth and get the message back to the spaceship. So if there's a problem, you really got a real problem, because nobody's coming to help you. But if you have a quantum entangled communications device on Earth and you take one with you in the ship, or you have a communications array that's been launched years ahead into deep space, you can communicate with the array or your quantum entangled communications device. You can instantaneously send a response and get a response back. And so that's where the future is going to go with this quantum entanglement. But as far as humans go, understanding that all thoughts and ideas and concepts most likely are downloaded from the field. Very few original thoughts. I think that almost everything that can be thought of has already been thought and exists in this soup. Just like an alien race 2 light years away can pick up I Love Lucy from 1960, because that radio wave, which is a wave of light, can be picked up and decoded, and you can watch I Love Lucy from 1960.
So what's the mechanism that connects it, though? And this is where I get a little spun out. And I've heard from a physicist that inside of each and every one of us is a black hole. And then I start to think that maybe we're it gives me like this pathway to a loop where you are the universe, like you hold all the frequencies and patterns. So there's just this sort of like infinite looping that's happening within you, but also in the universe, because it's one and the same through possibly like black holes or something. Is that it's even
it's through fractals.
Right.
We're a fractal of the whole. And in a fractal, if you look at a hologram, if you go to the smallest piece of a hologram, you'll find the whole image in the smallest piece. The only thing you lose is resolution. And we're living in a fractal holographic matrix. That's what we're actually living in. And this whole thing is one giant energetic grid. And the thing about it is, distance is an illusion. The distance between where I am now in Florida and wherever you are right now in the world is actually, it doesn't even exist. We're local in the same location. We're still connected in the same location. Individuality, separation, all illusions doesn't exist. There's only one entity and one consciousness providing this third dimension with the illusion of separation. And quantum entanglement, and the way that an avatar body is set up, like from thoughts, for example, if you look at our mind, and then you also look at Einstein's theory of relativity, if you take a planet in space, it warps space around it. And that warped space allows things to fall toward the planet. That's right. The warped gravity, right, effect. Mm-hmm. Our conscious thoughts warp the ether of space-time and create this well. And that's how the law of attraction works. Things fall toward us based on what we're warping, what we're focusing on. The energy field that we're using to warp, that's what begins to fall towards us.
Your thought is what is being warped towards it, which is why you have to be careful what you think of.
Exactly. So we're creating our own gravity wells, and we're creating this situation where, we are entangling with information based on frequencies. And whatever that frequency we're on when we're thinking, that's the warp space that's now sending back low frequency things. Or if you're in high frequency warp space, it's sending back high frequency things. You're entangling with things in the universe based on the frequency you're at.
So one of my greatest questions is, these are such deep rabbit holes, and someone like my dad would be like, why are you looking into stuff that you can't prove? I'm like, well, you got to ask the question. If we can get closer to the answer, then I feel like I'll know how to live this life better. I'll know how to play this game better. So what does all that teach us about how to best play this game of life and be as happy and joyful as possible?
Yeah, great question. Because that's really what's on everybody's minds. Like, How do I play in the matrix here? Like, what am I supposed to do? And when I began to realize that I was on a data collection mission, and my mission was to not only collect the information, but figure out a way that I'm supposed to bring heaven to earth. I'm not supposed to wait to die so that I can live. I'm supposed to live now in this realm. And then when my corporeal body releases my spirit energy, I'm going to live again and again. And every ascension process, my mission is to achieve the highest, most best lifestyle, living entity, energy, help, love, expressions, artistic creation that I possibly can in every single dimension. And I think that for me, that's the understanding I got. And so when I figured that out, when I had that epiphany, I said, wow, my job here is to, how many people can I help? How can I assist others? How can I learn how to walk in abundance? How can I be true to myself? How can I be the best that I can be? And also, how can I stop and smell the roses and be blessed and enjoy my blessings and be thankful for every single thing that I get my hands on, everything that comes to me? How can I truly be heartfully grateful for it? I learn my lessons. When something happens and goes wrong or I make a mistake, do I continue to make that same mistake, or do I learn from that and become better and better and better? And that begins the process and the step-by-step process for ascension. And that will ride me out of this realm and out of this dimension into the next one, so I can continue to build on that and become better and better and better.